it's me. Thank you so much for stopping by to watch today's Mama Junior. As you can see, I'm trying something a little different. And reviewing my other videos, I was a bit nosy. If you know what I mean, I was nosy. And so I didn't like that because I have a very plump nose, and so I was just so thankful that I didn't see any visitors in there because I didn't prepare to have my video be so nosy, but they have been quite interesting. But anyway, so again, thank you. And being hands-free, you know, I like to talk with that one hand. So now this dude can join the group. What up? Okay. So today I want to talk, as you could see the caption, about heartbreak. And not in the way you think. I want to, as Mama Junior, allow you and ask you and invite you to let your heart break. Give your heart a break. Give you a break. Do me a favor and just do this. Drop your shoulders. I carry so much in my shoulders, so much tension and stress, and I don't realize it all the time. I know it about myself, but I don't always pay attention to it. So at some points, I have to really stop and drop my shoulders. It's not about slouching, but it's about stretching, getting some of that off ya, you know. And if you're like me, that's where you carry it. That's where it's tight. That's where you're like, oh goodness, I need a good massage, heating pad, something, you know. So try to relax, lean up against something or someone. Relax your shoulders. We're gonna talk about giving your heart a break today on Mama Junior. In my last video, if you watched it, we talked about finding your joy. And in finding your joy, I gave you some tips and suggestions based on what I did when I was absence of joy. I don't know if I was completely absent, but when I recognized I was getting on E as far as joy. And so I've since shared a couple books, Finding Your Purpose by Sophia Janelle Taylor and Unoffendable by Ryan Leake. I found those books to be awesome, and so I did share those and what they look like on my page. And if you don't remember that, you can go back and take a look at that if you're interested. Do remember that Unoffendable is on the Bible app. So if you search that on the Bible app, you can get an excerpt of what that book is about, so that you're not buying a book and then it doesn't turn out to be what you expected. I don't remember if it was 3 days, 5 days, 7 days. If you're not familiar with the Bible app, that's what it does. It gives you a few days of an excerpt of some passage, and then it backs it up with scripture to support whatever that passage was that had just come through from that source. And so again, if you just want to take a peek of Ryan Leake's Unoffendable, such an easy read, but so amazing, and it's free on the Bible app. With Falling Into Your Purpose by Sophia Janelle Taylor, I read that book on Amazon. I believe I downloaded it, and please don't ask me how, because that was the only time I've ever done that. I am not tech savvy in any way, and so by the grace of God, I was able to download the book online, and because I bought it, I don't know how that works, if I'm still able to go in and read it when I want to, or if it was limited time. I don't know, because I'm not that girl, but I did read it that way. I wish I would have bought it, and I probably still need to, because I like to have those types of things to reference back. But anyway, like I said, I referenced some other things on the last video, and just trying to give you some tips about how to start that journey of finding your joy and getting it back and holding on to it and making sure that you don't let it go so easily anymore. But what I want to talk to you today about, again, is let your heart break. Give your heart a break. Unless you are someone who really is just living high on the hog, as they used to say. You have some responsibilities, whether it's primarily for taking care of your children. Some of you are taking care of your parents, siblings, loved ones. Maybe it's your occupation where you actually take care of people for a living in some type of home or facility. Taking care of yourself may be a challenge because of some of the things you may have going on in your life. A lot of us, I don't know many who don't have that responsibility of taking care of others. That in itself is a lot. Outside of taking care of these people and yourself, you got to try to be there for you. And we get so engaged and so involved in taking care of these people, a lot of times we forget to take care of us, as crazy as that sounds. And so much so we feel guilty when we do it. So when we go and do things, and I'm speaking from experience, it's a birthday for someone. And for me, I try to get a nice gift or a very thoughtful gift. Like for me, it may not be expensive, but I thought about you. And when I didn't know exactly what to get, I may say, okay, well, here's a gift card because that person has so many things, or I don't know what they could possibly need, you know. I might get you a gift card. But other than that, I really do try to tap into what I know about you and give you something that I feel is thoughtful. And so I don't know where I was going with that. Sorry, but I don't know where I was going with that. But anyway, basically, to me, we're always trying to take care. That's where I was going. We're always trying to take care of people so much. We feel guilty when we do things for ourselves. And so when I see something that I like in the store, I'm very hesitant, like, ooh, that costs about $50, or ooh, that's $20. Oh, I don't need it right now, you know. But when it comes to someone else, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get this and I'm gonna get this. They're gonna love that, you know. And so I just want you to give your heart a break. Mama Junior empathizes with you. And back to the other video, I had to really show myself and tell myself how to get out of my comfort zone and do things that were for me. I think that when people are trying to find their joy and happiness, they think it's gonna be found in two things: a new relationship or money. And I think that it's understandable why these two things are perceived to be the source of joy, but I think it couldn't be more inaccurate. Because I'm gonna tell you why. You know Mama Junior gonna tell you why. Hold on. So relationships, and I talked about that on the previous videos, on the previous video. Relationships do not guarantee joy. It's a temporary source of happiness, but if you are not happy, your mate is gonna recognize that, and you're gonna have a mate who does one of two things. That mate is going to stay and help you find you and what makes you happy and what makes you the individual that they saw that you didn't actually, recognize or were not prepared to tap into. They're going to support you and help to facilitate your individuality, or you're going to have that individual that comes and gets what they want and they're going to go because you have not yet arrived. You are not yet that person that you're supposed to be. You have not accepted the strength and the sense of self-worth that you need. And some people are not equipped to help you become that when you haven't started that way. And so that could be a blessing, because if you don't have that person in your corner who is going to be there for you when you're not your best self, you don't want them around. Fair weather friends, take care. But it's good in a way when you are not in a relationship with someone who couldn't cut it, who couldn't stand the rain, because they showed you that's not who they are. That's not their character. That's not what they're equipped to do in this relationship. And I think that's why you need to have a sense of self when you're going into the relationship. Take a break. some people go from relationship to relationship because they're addicted to love in a way where they don't want to be alone and find out who they really are. And I think we're all addicted to love in a way, but not to certain degrees, because we may not be as low on it as some people might be. We may be closer to the full line than some others. So we're not as hungry for love as others. And I want to talk about it being addicted to love in another video. And when I say being addicted to love, I don't mean sex. I mean love, emotion, relationship, the heart, matters of the heart. But you have to get yourself together first before you can add something to another relationship. And if you're going to be taking too much, some people are like, I'm out. I don't have all of that to give this individual, and I wish them well. So I want you to work on you before you think that this next relationship is your ticket to joy and happiness. You could be blessed, truly, like some can probably testify that they have been, because they were so lost when they found their significant other, and that particular individual was right on time and was everything they needed to get back. But you can't depend on that type of experience to happen to you. So you should be working on finding your self-worth. Ask for discernment. Ask for peace in your head to hear the Lord, and ask him to reveal to you what he wants for you, and ask that you be obedient when he does give you that information. That word reveal. My best friend, Kelly Tucker, gave me that word years ago, and she said, ask him to reveal it to you. And I'm like, okay. And since then, I use that word in my prayer, and it has been everything to me. So I give that to you. Ask him to reveal it to you. But again, ask for the obedience to do what you're supposed to do when he gives you that answer, when he reveals it to you, because he'll show it to you and you are not even looking for it. I promise. I can testify to that. The other thing that people think their joy and source of happiness will come from is money. And I think it's just societal things that we see, that we say, oh, were they so happy on those TV shows and those videos, and look at the big things that, that they have, that they're flossing and showing off, the cars and the money and the jewelry and, all the different places they get to travel and all those things. And I won't argue that all those things look great, but that does not mean those people are happy. It just doesn't. On that day, yes, I agree. They look at those smiles. They look very happy, but they may need a heartbreak. They may need to give their heart a break. They may be spending and trying their best to pile on material things because they're low on love. And we have seen celebrities with all the money in the world, so much they had to leave it to people and charities and their dogs when they left this earth, because they couldn't spend it all. But they left this earth unhappy because they took themselves out. They overdosed. They self-medicated to where they overdosed. Some people actually killed themselves. Robin Williams is one that still stands out to me. Like you, I thought he was a happy guy. And to hear that he had hurt himself was really a shocker, because I didn't think of him as somebody who was happy because he had money. I thought he was happy because of the type of work he did, the type of entertainment he gave us. It wasn't dark or scary or sad or moody. It was fun. It was laughter. It was, he was a comedian, but that was his job. So I never even thought twice about that guy, especially not being happy. And so I just want you to remember that at some point in your life, you had eaten really well, your bills were paid, you had a roof over your head, everybody was safe and sound. but you were somewhere sad, unfulfilled, crying. Because money does not and will not replace your joy. Ask somebody who has lost someone extremely close to them. If at the time that person was getting sick, the threat of their death was imminent, or maybe it was abrupt that that person was taken, ask them before that person left, no matter how quickly they left or how long it took them to go. If you were given the option to be homeless for a year or to keep your loved one forever, which would you have chosen? And again, I'm talking about people who lost someone very dear to them. It would be no question that they would be fluffing the pillows in the back of their Chevy. They would be hanging cute little lights around their Jeep, because what they know now, and even before that person left, is the thought of not having that person is too much. So at the very least, be considerate around those people when you're talking about how money is everything and how you do anything for money. Because some people's hearts are still breaking. Sorry. Because they lost someone. And it wasn't necessarily this week or this month. It's been years. And their heart is still sore, still tender about that person. I'm going to tell you a story, and I came prepared because it's not an easy story. So, when my father passed away in January of 2016, I had taken a trip to Michigan. And the very next day that I got to Michigan, my uncle called, and he said that he had gotten a call from the hospital saying that, the family needed to get to the hospital. My father had coded 3 times, which that means is his heart had stopped 3 times. They had to resuscitate him. And so I said, okay, well, I'm in Michigan, I'm on my way. So my aunt and uncle was in Florida at the time, and they went to Alabama, which is where my father was, from Florida. And in the meantime, I booked a flight from Michigan to Alabama. And I flew down, and we were there a few days, maybe just a couple days before he passed. And obviously it was difficult, but I didn't realize how much would be put on me as far as decision making, because I was his only child. And so I'm standing maybe 10 or 15 feet out of the room where this guy is doing CPR on my dad. Sorry. And I'm facing the room, and I see the guy pumping on my dad. And the doctor comes in front of me to talk to me about what's going on. But as he's standing in front of me, I'm looking like this, and I can see the guy still doing CPR on my dad. And so the guy says, the doctor says, this has happened, it keeps happening. What do you want us to do? Do you want us to keep trying to resuscitate him? And I remember in that second, like, what kind of question is that, And I was insulted that I had to answer him. And I was like, save my daddy, do what you got to do to save my daddy. And so he said, okay. And I guess he needed permission. And so he asked us to go wait in the family room off from the emergency room or wherever, the intensive care where we were. And so maybe 20 minutes or so came around, and they came back and let us know that they had done all they could. And so I waited, in shock with my stepmother, and my aunt and uncle were already in town, but they were not at the hospital at that moment, because like I said, we had been there a couple days, so they had still to come to the hospital. And so when they got there, I was trying to be strong and let them know that he was gone. And you know, we did everything we needed to do for, you know, preparing for the funeral and things like that. And then I had to fly back to Michigan because I had originally flown to Michigan. So my returning flight to North Carolina was from Michigan. Okay. So I went back to Michigan after about that week and a half or so of being in Alabama. And I went to my mom's house. And when I got to my mom's house, obviously, you know, only a couple days had passed, so I was still very raw. And so she was standing there making tea. My mother loves tea. She's not a coffee drinker, she's a tea girl. And so I just sat on the couch and waited for her. And when she got done, she looked over at me and she came and sat down. She opened her hands. And I just laid to the side on her lap and gave my heart a break. I had done so much in those 2 weeks, week and a half, that I needed to give my heart a break. My dad has spent years, sorry. My dad has spent years of not taking care of himself. And those around him constantly braced themselves for that call. So it wasn't such a huge shock to us. But we still loved him. And he still loved us, no matter what he did. My daddy loved his family. And he loved his friends. And after years of being scared for him and years of bracing myself, I had to give my heart a break. So I'm asking you to stop trying to fight and be strong at every second. Because even though it took years, I needed to lay in my mama's lap. And she rubbed me. And she didn't say a word. She didn't say it's okay. She didn't say anything because she didn't have to. She just let my heart break. She just let my shoulders drop. And she's not here because she's in Michigan and I'm in North Carolina. But find somebody if your mom is not here for one reason or another. Find somebody who will let your heart break with them. Because you need it and you deserve it. And it's a critical step in finding your joy. I'm so sorry if you didn't understand me through the tears. And I did not expect this video to be almost 25 minutes long, yikes. But thank you for letting me share because my heart breaks when I see things happen with those who I love and even those who I don't know very well, but I see your heart breaking. I'm always praying for you. I'm always praying for the posts that you put on social media because you're sad or because things aren't going your way or someone mistreated you. I'm still praying for your kids from years ago when you said that things were not going so well for them. because I want you to be happy. I really want you to be happy. But I need you to want you to be happy enough that you start fighting for it. But sometimes before you get there, you have to give your heart a break. So, thank you for watching. Love you.